All right. Job number one. Get these doors open. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Whoa. Slippery. It's a cold one out here today, folks. Welcome back. Probably can't see too well. I've got my Diet Dr. Pepper. You guys like that? Okay, let's get this old thing fired up. Where's the ignition? Gosh, on the other side. Wait for the glow plugs up there. You guys can see that orange light. That's what I'm waiting to go out. Oh yeah, it took a little bit there. Now it's probably about -15, -18 Celsius, give or take. Normally I have the tractor plugged in. I just forgot to do it because I didn't know it was going to get that cold. But I didn't fire up with too much issues. Anyways, we're heading out to the woods. I'll see you guys there. Hey guys, welcome back. I tell you, there's certain days that you really like being outside. Today is one of those days. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the sun poking through the trees or the nice crisp clean air, and then you got the nice snowfall. Feels like a beautiful day to be alive out here. I definitely am very fortunate to have an opportunity to get out here. Maybe some of you guys get a similar opportunity. You know exactly what I mean, but today's one of those days. Super happy to be out here. So what we're doing today is we're working out a bit of a landing here. In previous videos, you guys would have seen me skidding these red pines out. I was skidding them from sort of an area down that way where I thinned a row of red pines. And if you aren't familiar with this type of plantation, that's exactly what it is. This right here is a plantation of red pine trees that's sometimes used to basically bring profit to an area that was previously cleared. This area used to be wide open through here. 35 years ago, red pine trees got planted. And this is what we're left with. I'm in here and I was thinning, and now what I'm doing is I'm processing. I got to process because I don't have a big landing area, and if I want to make room for more trees, then we got to process these ones. That's what we're doing today. What I've got here in my top pocket is a little bit of a materials list that I put together, and this chicken scratch is the length of logs that I want to cut today, so that when I get it back to my sawmill, I know exactly what I've got, and I know I'm going to be able to make what I want to make out of it. So we're going to fire up the chainsaw, although it has been warmed up here a few minutes ago. We're going to fire it up again. We'll come through. We'll probably square off some of these ends here, and then I'll measure the lengths. What I'm going to be doing is I've already had a quick look at these logs. I'm picking out the best logs, like some of the bigger ones, and I'm going to use them for some of the bigger material I need. So I'll cut those potentially to a different length than some of the smaller ones. When we're all done, we'll be left with the tops as well as log pieces, and then I'll come through, I can pick them up, and I can transport them down to my sawmill. So I like to process here as opposed to in the woods, or in the trail where I cut them from, just because then all the waste is in one spot and I have access down that trail without having to go back through and move it out of the way or chip it in that place. So that's what we're up against. Glad you guys are here to join me, and here we go. Well, guys, we took a little bit of a break there. What I did was I switched out the forks for the grapple. This right here, if you're interested, this is a HLA brand 66-inch root rake with grapple. So this grapple here is hydraulically controlled, and it's hooked up here to these connections. Those connections run via that hydraulic line, or two lines, these ones, all the way along my loader, underneath my tractor, all the way to my rear remotes. If you guys have a look there. There they are right there. And the reason I do that is it allows me not to have a third function on my tractor. I can simply use the built-in control there. Third function would be ideal. I know many of you have suggested I get one. Just hasn't hit the top of the wish list yet, so I haven't got it. Anyways, that's my grapple. Switched it out. It allowed me to pull some of this pile down. The pile, as I was cutting, was getting a little bit too high. When it's in tree form, I know the tree's not going to move because it's sandwiched in there. But when it's in a log form, it could roll, and I don't want it to roll onto me or something jam my leg, or who knows what could happen. So we knocked the pile down. That way it's safer. I also, you would have seen me using my, what do you call it? Where to go? Can hook. I use that in order to square up the logs. The distance between this row of trees and the actual logs is not very wide. Not very wide. Makes it so I can't square the tractor up to the log pile. So I use the can hook to roll the logs a little bit. And just one more thing as it's fresh in my mind here. Some of you guys would have seen me measuring the logs using my logger's tape. Well, I'm not going to be having this on my belt for the second half of the cutting here. Just because if we have a look there, the hook that would normally wrap around my belt is gone. See the screw there holding this triangular piece? See that screw on the left? See how it's partly backed out? Well, the one on the right completely fell out, and I don't know how that happened. And I'm sure if I look closely, there'll be more. I don't know how that happened, but it backed right out on me, and this actually just fell off my belt and into the snow, and well, yeah, the rest is history. Not too happy about that. I would have liked that to have been in there a little better, but such is life. I guess I'll have to figure out another screw. Those are awfully small. Anyways, one more thing. When I was connecting this to the end of the log, all these logs are frozen. This right here, I clipped down into a 90 degree. And then before I walk down the log to measure it, I take this and I try to dig it right into the log. And that's easier said than done with a frozen log. So I've been trying to dig it into any place I could. Usually I aim for in between the bark and the sapwood layer. So, you know, as best I can, I push it in there. But with it being frozen, it's not going in too easily. Like, check that out. That's pretty sharp. I can't even push that in very easily. So I was struggling with that. But anyways, that's probably the least of my problems. So we'll make it work. Here we go. Well guys, we did it. We got the logs up to the piles up there. So as I said before, we have about 3, maybe 4 piles up there. 16 footers, 13 footers, 9 footers, and then we have the logs that are too small for making lumber. We'll hold on to those extra pieces. We'll figure out what we're going to do with them. I'll also have to process the tops, but for now I think what we'll do is we will come back another day. I'll continue cutting here. That whole process of cutting logs, rolling them, measuring them, moving them with the tractor, it's a bit of a lengthy process for one person. I'm getting kind of chilly out here. Can you tell? Maybe not. But anyways, I was inside the cabin. That's more comfortable. So I've got that cleaned up. We'll be back out here very soon. Glad you guys joined me today. If you have any questions about my setup, just hold off asking about what those logs are going to be for, because I got something coming that I think you guys are going to like, in the way of a project, of course. Take care, be well, make sure you subscribe, give her the old like-a-roo, and I'll see you next time.